can we talk through maybe some of these paths? Like if there's 12 of them, what's the first path that a man needs to take into biblical masculinity?
Let me just grab my book here and let me get us going here a little bit. So, so the thing that I love about this is we kind of even designed the inside so it looks like a path. And the idea of the path, I will say this, the idea of the path is no arrival. One of the first things you have to die to as a man is you have to die to arriving, because there is no arrival. You're never going to be a perfect Christian. You're never going to be a perfect husband. You're never going to be a perfect father. You're never going to be a perfect business owner. You're never going to be a perfect leader. Just let that thing die. Because one of the first tenets of the fight in general is death before death. Because if I die before I die, I never have to die. And that is reality while I'm still living. And that is eternity when I go and leave this planet. And so that is huge for us, the core value of death before death. I have to learn to die well. And we believe that death always leads to resurrection, redemption, and reconciliation. So when your finances are dying, it's just an invitation to greater potential. When your influence is dying, it's just an invitation to greater levels of authority and being able to walk that out in your life. So we have to make some of those agreements, and assumptions are at the very beginning of the entire book. But the paths are this. They're departing business as usual, stepping into a bigger story, embracing where you came from, listening to the call of adventure, stumbling forward in immaturity, tempering aggression through initiation, finding a wise elder, encountering divine feminine, discovering true strength by embracing failure, engaging in the redemptive work of grief, learning to integrate the shadow, arriving where you always belonged. And the first one really is departing business as usual, because we have to let go of the assumption that we know what the hell we're talking about, because we just don't. And anybody who says they have this thing on lock and figured out, just yell liar and move on and watch a different podcast, leave the meeting, because it's just not true. Like nobody fully understands what we're engaging with when it comes to God, when it comes to masculinity, when it comes to how to do this well, because the same practice, that's why I didn't make this, like for me, this is an invitation into what it looks like practically to your life. This is not a 12-step process. It's just 12 steps every man has to take. So that is the good news. It's not like I take the 12 and I'm done. It's like, no, you take the 12, then you start over in a different area. Like every one of the areas, we have what we call the 7 pillars of masculinity, which, for us are faith, family, finance, fitness, friendship, formation, and fun. And those are the 7 pillars of the masculine life. And in each one of those areas, I have a set of beliefs, I have a set of values, and I have a set of behaviors that I bring into that because of my experience. So the first thing that they would do, even in ritual initiation or tribal initiation, is they would have the boy exit business as usual. So for us, we have to get to a place in our minds where we can start, because it doesn't begin with our heart and it does not begin with our hands. It begins with our mind, because as a man thinketh, so he is. So we have to recognize that whatever's going in here, I am going to produce that environment around me. Whatever I am thinking about in the morning, that's why I tell men, everybody's doing, morning routines. It is cold plunge and it is an activation exercise where I walk through every single morning. I do breathing so that I can be present. I do blessing, which is being grateful. I do filling because I want to be completely centered in God from the beginning to the end. And third, I do receiving, which is I'm going to lay hold of the promises that are in my life that have still not yet to be achieved. And I'm going to see them as finished, celebrate them as finished, feel them as finished, and watch the impact in my mind of what the impact of me finishing those things looks like, so that my mind is right moving into, well, I'm going to work out. Well, I got to do this. Well, I got to do that. Great. Do all that. Get this right, and it will transform every day. Because if you want to change your life, you have to begin one day at a time and one thought at a time. And when we talk about these 12 paths, we're leaving business as usual and we're going on an adventure that's going to cost us something. Like you don't get to just go back home afterwards. Like that's the sucky part about this work. I tell everyone with the fight, I'm like, you are legitimately like taking the pill. You are leaving business as usual and you can't go back. This is some matrix reality here. You will be introduced to things that you wish you did not know about yourself. But the moment you know it, you now have the power to do something about it. And nobody else has that power, just you. And so we're helping men through those paths. A couple of the other ones, just engaging with grief, recognizing the feminine in your own life without becoming feminized. That's a huge one. But grief is a big deal in men's lives. So I'll just touch on that before we move on. But grief is the gateway to men's emotions. So most men can't touch their emotions because every other emotion is the defender of grief. So if I can't engage with grief, then I can't engage with love. I can't engage with gratefulness. I can't engage with mercy. I can't engage with justice. I can't engage with any other joy. I'll never engage with real joy or anything else because I'm limited by my lack of grieving in my life. And to walk a man into grief, it was as easy as what we did just earlier. I would do the same exact line. I do this with men on our one-on-one calls all the time, through our sparring sessions. It's like, I'll sit with them and I'll be like, all right, what do you want to get through? What are you experiencing? And they'd tell me a story and I'd walk them back into a place where they're now not just giving me like, oh, I'm still trying to impress my dad. I'd go, when was the first time you had to impress your dad? And doesn't have to be the actual first time. What is the first time you remember? Now, don't do third person. Don't do 30,000 foot. Sit in it. Sit in your body. And I ask them, what are you wearing? What does it smell like? What are the colors? What are the clothes? What is it? All the details. Give it to me. And when I feel like they're in that space, I go, what are you feeling? And it'll be like scared. Okay, scared is might be real, but is scared covering up the fact that you feel sad because your dad is the one scaring you in that moment? Because that should be the guy protecting you. And yes, fear is manifesting. Yes, fear is showing up as primary. But what about the little boy who just wanted a dad to tell him how amazing he was? And then the tears come. Then the sadness comes. But the gateway through that, and we do this with the fight all the time because this is how men cry. Men do this, And so we do this in the fight all the time, especially at fight weekends when we're doing stories and stuff, is I'll go, hey, is it okay to touch your face? Every single time. Because every man does this, and I'll grab their chin. I go, we are men. We own every tear we cry. Keep your chin up and own that. Own it. Keep the chin up. Put your shoulders back. Strong, powerful position, and then cry as long as you need. And we'll sit here with you. We're not in any rush. And then most men, because we've learned this, we're trying to hide. That's what we're trying to do. And I'll go, okay, hey, I see you. We see you. No need, man. We're good. Strong. And then all of a sudden, guess what? They have access to do that with their wives. Now they have access to love their wives in a way they didn't prior because they can engage with the grief and the sadness of how they treated their wives because they felt like crap. No man wants to treat his wife badly. We don't walk down the aisle and go, man, I cannot wait to treat her like crap, But then the moment she goes, hey, I feel like you're treating me like crap, we go, defense. Why? Because we know, but we don't want to engage with it because then we'd have to get into grief. And grief, man, that's why most men default to aggression because violence is the defender of grief in our lives. So you have 3 gateways, right? So you have aggression, that blocks us from grief, and grief that is guarding the rest of our emotions. And so when anger shows up in a man's life, we've done a lot of these now, and I watch it. I watch him get angry. And I'm like, okay, dude, feel that. Do you want us to hold it? We'll do a bunch of tools around it and whatever. We'll let people get as angry as they need. Let's do it. Let's engage with it. But then we're going to get you to the sadness that's behind it. And so that pathway in the book is the one I've seen the most happen with in a man's life, where he's engaging with it practically and it transforms who he is.
Yeah, man. Jake, I appreciate you so much, man. I mean, the amount of men that you just gave permission to sit and feel their emotions and cry is powerful. So for you guys that are out there, man, if you weren't fully tuned in for the last 7-8 minutes, rewind, go back and just sit in a quiet space and listen and allow everything to flow through you, man. Like, cause you were just sharing more things. I'm like,
right. And a man can do that. It's very simple. What are you experiencing today that you just don't want anymore? Okay, great. Then let's walk backwards just a little bit to what do you feel in that moment? I'm trying to prove myself, or I'm feeling less than, I'm feeling stuck, I'm feeling stupid. Okay, whatever emotion that is, walk back to the first time you remember feeling that. Then put yourself fully in that moment. You can do this at home anytime. Put yourself in that moment. Maybe you got triggered by your wife. Your wife said something and you're like, oh, yeah. That's just a trick. Oh, dude, walk it backwards. When was the first time you felt like that? Was it because your mom told you what to do? Was it because someone else told you? Because that emotion doesn't equate to what your wife just asked you to do. So just go back to when you felt that emotion, put yourself in that space, and allow yourself to walk backwards into grief so that the rest of it can come out and you can show kindness in all the relationships you currently have.
Powerful.